This conference will now be recorded.
So today we are supposed to start error handling. Till now, last couple of sessions, we found a lot of errors while doing the exercise. And by seeing the syntax, we used to rectify it. But we don't know how to handle error in a professional way. Yes, I'll say we not discussed so far. So when I come to error handling, there are two types of errors we can find in Python. The first error is syntax error. When you are writing a code due to habit or due to unknowingly, if you are giving some other, if you miss some code, then it will be considered as syntax error. For an example, you can see here error handling and exceptions. How to handle an exception for every error we are going to discuss in today's class. Errors are two types: syntax error, wrong syntax we are trying to give it. Maybe it can be an indentation issue, or when you are defining any function, it has to be end with colon. So you might be forgot to give colon. Instead of colon, you might be giving a semicolon. Or when you're writing a print statement, you might be forgot uh, one bracket. So all these things comes under syntax issues. So errors that occur due to error syntaxes, like missing colons, indentation, or anything. In your program itself, there is an error. It can be anything, indentation also. So example to find a syntax issue is, I'm just giving x equal to 10, y equal to 20. And if x is greater than y, print x is largest value. Else print y is the largest value. Now, according to you, what is the error in this? We assume the code is correct only, no? This is the code. Any error in this?
If statement doesn't have the colon.
So you, while writing your program, there might be a chance you may forget some syntaxes, or if print statement may start from somewhere here parallel to your if statement. Any reason. So in your program, if you have an issue, it can be considered as a syntax error. That means your execution, when you click on run mode, your execution will not be happen. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
Just for an example. If x is greater than y, I'm not giving the colon, print x, then what else we given here? Else statement we given. Else print something we given like this. Now when I'm trying to execute it, since there is a syntax issue called colons for else, if and else, system will not execute itself. You can see here invalid syntax. Are you getting my point? It will not be execute the program itself. And when I come into the second type of error, that is called runtime error. So syntactically, your program is correct. Everything is perfect. But while executing, there are some kind of errors which has been system has been identified because of your values or something else. So let's see that one also. Errors that occurs in runtime, not syntax wise. So syntax errors will be checked before execution, and while execution, you can find runtime errors. Example: trying to access an element which is not present in the list. So you have a list from 1 to 100, and you're trying to access 101, which is not there. then it will be runtime error. It will be syntactically it is correct. 1 to 10 is there, so the values are stored and it is a list. But while executing, I'm expecting it to execute 101, which is not there, so it's going to be runtime error. Trying to remove an element which is not present in the list. My database belongs to India, and I'm trying to remove a address which is there in US. There is going to be a runtime error. My program is correct. My syntactically everything is correct. But while accessing, while executing, or while running the program, I am asking my system to do some activity which is not there in my database or which is not there in my Excel sheet. Then you will get runtime errors. So for an example, I have a list from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 unstored in X variable. And when you say print X, you'll get outcome of a list. Now I'm trying to remove, or I'm trying to access an element which is there in 8th position. Actually, there is no 8th position, up to 4 only. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Forward index is 0 to 4 only, but I'm trying to access 8th position. So system will show runtime error, index error. The class name which system show is index error. The system says that index out of range. Range is 0 to 4 and it is there, but I'm trying to access 8th position element. So system is showing an error saying that index is out of range. Ultimately index error. Or I'm trying to remove an element which is 7. So system is trying to say pop index out of range. There is no 7 value. Are you getting? Or a 70, the number itself. 70 is not in list. Are you getting my point? Or any questions? What in by syntax error? What in by
No,
runtime error?
no.
No. So if you see here, generally there are two type of errors in Python: syntax error, runtime error. Syntax error are nothing but the errors that occurs due to wrong syntax. Example: wrong space indentation, missing colons, or anything. In your program itself, it's an error. So def display, print hello display. There are some two syntaxes identified which is wrong. End of the def there should be a colon, and print has to be have maintain a 4 space indentation. But right now there is no indentation. So system assumes that nothing is there. Python interpreter check the syntax errors, then converts into source code to bytecode, nothing but .pyc. Then it will be converted bytecode to machine code. When it converts to machine code, then only the execution will start. But right now, as I explained here, when you click on F5 button, nothing but a module run. When I click on run module, what system will do is system is trying to create in a backend .pyc format. The .pyc format is trying to convert into machine code. That machine code is going to be executed. So your exception in syntax errors are going to be checked first before generating a .pyc. Indirectly, I want to say before executing your file, system is going to check. It's nothing but a preliminary check whether all syntaxes are correct or not by Python interpreter. Once the syntaxes are correct, then the .pyc file will be created, and the .pyc file is going to be executed, and then it will going to check your runtime errors. So there are two type of errors we are going to be find. If there are syntax errors, that pyc file will not be generated. If that pyc file is not generated, then the Python code will not be executed. So always syntax errors before execution only. All runtime errors after execution. So what by runtime errors means errors that occur at runtime. That is during the execution of the time of a program. So example, trying to access element which is not present trying to remove an element which is not present. I just explained you the same example. So trying to remove an element which is not present, I explained you. Nothing but x dot remove 7. So seventh position value, 7 value is not there. Whenever we get a runtime error, program execution is terminated abnormally. So if you remember in the previous programs, when I have a runtime errors in middle of the program, system automatically terminate entire program itself. It's not going to be stop it there and again execute the next line. It will be terminate the program done and there itself. Though I have another 10 lines of program which is supposed to be executed, it will not be executed. For every runtime error, corresponding predefined Python class are available. So if I'm going back, you can see here index error, value error are the classes. What you are seeing here, index error is nothing but a class. Error, index error or value error. All these are nothing but classes which are predefined by your Python program. So for every error, every possible error, there is a predefined class, and that predefined class is trying to give some message what kind of error it is for further investigation. Is it clear? Whenever we get a runtime error represents the class object, like index error or value error. Just now, as I explained you, whenever we get a runtime error, runtime error will represent a class object, will be represented automatically. Whenever this object is created, we say the exception is raised. We need to handle it with the code. Otherwise, abnormal termination. Right now, what is happening means we not handle any error by ourselves. It was handled by system. So whenever there is a runtime error, system automatically executing a object, nothing but a class, and that class has some message, and immediately it is going to be terminated. It's not executing the further steps. Are you accepting that? Print x of it. Now syntactically this is correct. Are you agreeing with that? So, and when I'm executing, system is showing an error, index error, list index out of range. So this is the class, index error is the class which is executed, and though I have something else to print later, it will not be executed. Abnormal terminate is happen. So though I have valid syntax, valid lines, program lines, it will not be executed at all. So just terminate the program and then end there itself. Are you getting my point? So this scenario, how you handle your error and how to bypass that error or how to take it from there. So there are different methods we have it to handle errors or nothing but index the classes what you have it here. Is it clear?
Yes, Samar.
So whenever we create a rest, we need to handle it. What by abnormal termination means termination of a program in middle of the execution without executing the last statement. So here the same thing has happened. I have one print statement x of 8. 8 position is not there, so system is terminated automatically. Though I have second next line which is a valid statement which can be executed, but abnormal terminations happen, so the next lines subsequent lines will not be executed at all. So how many type of exceptions we have, how to bypass things means we have predefined exceptions and user defined exceptions. Predefined exceptions are the exceptions uh, raised automatically and we need to handle it, no other option. These things are raised like index error or value error or any kind of error we have it, the classes are raised by system and which we need to fix it or we need to handle it. Those are predefined exceptions. And second thing is user defined exceptions. We need to raise the exception, the problem, and we need to handle it. For an example, I'm trying to give an input by user. So I'm asking user to enter two values, A and B. A, let user has an option to enter. So he enter A value as a 1 and B value as a 0. Now my operation within the program is A by B. So nothing but 1 by 0. 1 by 0 is nothing but infinity. So I need to raise a error saying that when the user trying to enter a 0 for a B, it has to give an error saying that should not enter 0. Apart from 0, enter any number. So those kind of exceptions I can raise it, and those things can be handled by giving some kind of comments. Don't enter 0, enter some other value above 0, something like that. Hope you're clear. What are my user defined exceptions? What are my predefined exceptions? You got an idea? So what you are seeing here are predefined exceptions. Index error, index error. These are the classes which are predefined. There is no other option. I have to fix it as a user. But when I'm asking a user to enter, like by using input option, input A value, input B value. For an example, x equal to int of input of A, y equal to int of input of B. Now z equal to x by y. Print z. So syntactically, is there any issue? Is it correct? Any error in this? What? So this is predefined. So 0 division error, division by 0. So user has an option to enter any number, but while he entered 0, I need to raise an exception saying that, hey boss, don't enter 0, enter some other number, so that I can bypass this predefined 0 division error by maintaining upfront an exception before he is entering the 0. Or I can say that when he's trying to enter a 0, I can give an exception, hey, don't enter, so that we can bypass this 0 division error, right? That way we can handle, no? Giri and Amini are getting my point.
Yes, Sabha.
So if I give an error saying that don't enter B as a 0 and enter any number which is greater than 0, some comments, again I'll repeat the same statement A and B. Don't you think that this error will be void? 0 division error class. When you're giving an alert to your customer, don't enter 0 and negative values. Do you think that he's going to be enter?
Yes, Samir.
So when he's not entering, then you'll not get this class itself, no? 0 division error. So user defined exceptions are going to be created by you and are going to be handled by you. But predefined exceptions are nothing but the classes which is raised by system and you are going to fix it. So both are in your hands only, not by someone else. No one is going to help you. So you're responsible for predefined exceptions and user defined exceptions both. What in by exception? You can see here exceptions, nothing but I'm trying to enter a value for X value and I'm trying to enter a value for Y. So both are user defined. Enter first number, enter second number. And I'm going to use some kind of operation, Z equal to X by Y, print Z. So syntactically, the code is correct. So I will not get any error while before executing. But when I'm executing, I'll get a runtime error saying that zero division error, division by zero. So it is a predefined class. Zero division error is nothing but predefined class. And this class is giving some comment saying that division by zero is not going to be possible. And because of predefined error, it is an abnormal termination. After that, if I have any statement, those things are not going to be executed. So this is called exception, predefined exception, I mean to say. So how to handle an exception means we're trying to do by using some kind of small code, piece of code. So exception handling, how you're handling an exception or error. The process of identifying raising exception object and handling it by assigning that exception to corresponding runtime error representation class is known as exception handling. Try to find out where you have possible errors, where you can find the possible errors. So you need to identify the first thing. So if I enter 0 by any number, I may not find the error. It will be 0 only. But any number by 0, I'll get an exception. So you need to find out the possible locations where you can find the exceptions. That is the first step. So we can implement exception handling using a try and except block. Try and except block are the two different concepts which are going to be combined together and you're trying to execute it. So we need to follow an indentation for both try and exception block. The syntax looks like this: try block, syntax, and you have some couple of statements. For identify raising the exception, the statements which cause to runtime error are placed within the try block. So first you need to identify which are the program, which are the lines can be caused for your exception block or nothing but a predefined class or exceptions should be placed under try block. So example, I have x equal to int input of enter y x value and y some value, try z equal to x by y and print z. So I maintain like this. So z equal by entering zero value to the y, I will not find any issue. But when I'm doing aggregate function, the z value costs to infinity, so it's going to say zero division value is not possible. So this aggregation z equal to x by y is causing my exception. So enter that particular line under try block. Not only this one, going forward, if you're writing 100 lines of program, in 100 lines of program, if you have multiple exceptions, maintain multiple tries. Try z equal to x by y. Try z equal to x minus y. So you can write multiple pieces like this. If exception is raised in the first statement of the try block, then control will go to except block without executing remaining statements of the block. So what is happening here means, so system is identified z equal to 1 by 0. So it is going to be entering to exception point. So what system will do is, system will not execute the next statement, print z. It will not be executed. So it will go to the next part that is called except block. So from try block to except block it will go, and in except block, whatever you written there, the statements which you want to execute, those statements will be executed and it will be complete the program. So try block will not be executed the subsequent lines. It will be whenever the system identified the exception, it will be stopped there and it will be terminated there. From there, it will go to except block. From the except block, it will be execute the remaining program, whatever you written there, maybe the 10 lines program. I'll show you practically, then you'll get an idea. So if the exception is raised, the first statement of the try block, then control goes to except block without executing remaining statements in try block. How to write a exception block means similar like try, just type except the name. What if I find the class name as zero division, the class name colon and the statements which you want to be execute. So here my class name is zero division error. Zero division error is my class. So except in bracket zero division by class. So system identified, if the system identified zero division by class, system is going to be execute the line state saying that here I might be mention one print statement saying that print don't enter b value as a zero. Do not enter, I mean to say. So system will print this one, and if you use some for loop or from here again you will take it back to your x and y inputs, system automatically take you to the those points. So except blocks assign the exception object to the corresponding runtime error representation class. We can also display use friendly error messages in the except block. It's not meaning that you need to write 100 lines of program within the except block. You can just give a friendly message. Right now, as I mentioned, do not enter y value as a zero. You can just give one print statement which give an acknowledgement or an awareness to the user who is entering the y value. Example, except zero division error. Within that, just print second number cannot be zero. Getting my point? Now you can see x int x value I'm just taking and y value I'm taking. I know the aggregation because of entering y value 0, I'm not getting any problem. But because of entering doing some aggregation x by y, I'm getting an exception. So z equal to x by y. So that is I'm maintaining on a try block print z. So what the value whatever I'm getting x by y, I'm expecting to be printed on a try block. In case if I'm getting an error except, then it will go to except block. If the error is equivalent to zero division error, it's not something some other error. If it's only zero division error, then it will come to it will be display print no second number cannot be zero. If there is some other error like index error or value class error or type error, something some other error, then this except will not be executed. Are you getting my point?
Yes, Amar.
So let me show you that one also. So I know this aggregation is going to be this problem. So try, you can see here at same syntax I'm giving. Try maintain indentation, then accept bracket. Where is this? Print do not enter y value as zero. Now, if my if I'm not getting this kind of error, then system automatically go with print z. If I am getting zero division error, then system will come to accept block without printing the z value, and it will be displayed this one. So let's see that. So a value I'm entering as 1, b value I'm entering as 1. So 1 by 1 is going to be 1 only. So the system is going to print the z value as 1.0. So system is not executed except block because this except is not generated. I'm going to be execute a value is 5 some number, b value is 0. Now system is not printed the jet system since the exception is nothing but zero division error. System is trying to find out which except has zero division error, and it is going to print the message whatever I have within the except. It can be a subprogram, it can be a print statement, anything, or I can write multiple exceptions like this. Indentation error. print check indentation. So whenever the system identified, do not worry about the syntaxes, I just mentioned. Whenever system identified 0 division class, system is going to display this message. Whenever system identified indentation error, system is going to display check the indentation. So you are maintaining the except for every class, which are possible classes, followed by the possible outcomes. It can be a program, it can be a normal simple statement which you want to give an acknowledgement to the or an awareness to the user. Clear how this try and except will work?
Yes, sir.
Multiple exceptions handling in a single try. So it's not single error, it can be multiple errors. It can be a value error, it can be 0 division error, it can be something else, or any other errors, whatever it may be, indentation, whatever it may be. So I want to maintain multiple exceptions for single program. Can I handle it? Means yes, we can handle it. So in order to handle different exceptions by using a different exception blocks, then we go with single try with the multiple blocks. So one single try with multiple blocks exceptions. So value error. So x equal to int integer, enter first number. If you enter a string, we get a value error because int I'm not maintained. So keep the statement in try block and save it. So for example, without int, if I maintain, that is going to be value error, that is going to be syntax error, I mean string error. So that one also you can maintain one exception. So here you can see try integer input enter the first number, integer input enter the second number. So just an example, instead of entering a numerical data, what if user entered string data like a b c? So here I'm asking the user to enter any numerical data. He entered a. So do you think that a can be converted as a numerical? So it can be value error, right? A cannot be converted as a numerical, alphabetical. Are you getting my point? What I'm trying to say? So we want to restrict wherever it's possible. So whenever there is an error value issue, system has to give a message saying that enter only numerical data, not a alphabeticals. I'm trying to enter only the numerical data for x value, and I'm trying to enter only the numerical data through y value. Z equal to x plus 5 and print z. So right now in my current try, I have two possibilities. One, it can be zero division by zero division, and second is value error. There might be a chance the user can enter alphabetical value instead of numerical data. So though I have int, I requested the user to enter only the numerical data. So that is the one issue. So if he entered alphabetical, then he's getting a value error. By seeing this one, he cannot understand what is the problem. So I need to perform some kind of activity for this. My first except is zero division error. Zero division error, I'm asking user not to enter second value as a zero. And second except is going to be value error. So if he entered alphabetical instead of numerical data, system is giving in a value error. You can see value error. Apart from this two, if any error, apart from this two any error, then it will go to error in runtime. Just it is giving a plain print saying that error in runtime. So if the error is not a zero division error, and if the error is not a value error, apart from this two any other error occurs. So except it's nothing something like if else, if else, if else, if else, finally else. What can be apart from the first statement, second, if the first statement fails, go to second statement. If the second statement fails, go to third start statements. And if third statement fails, go to fourth statement and so on. Finally, we'll say else. Apart from the first to last statement, if it's not applicable, then go to the last one. general category. In the same fashion, except is going to be apart from zero division error, apart from value error. If you have any other error, just print saying that error in runtime. It's a default error message. Clear? Any questions on this? Multiple exceptions handling with a single try. Giri and Abhinay.
No, Amar.
No, Amar.
Am I going first?
No.
Okay. Amar, I have a single question here. Can I maintain the except block in the first position, which is a default one in the first position? And can I maintain zero division error in the last position?
We can, I think.
We cannot. Sequential error. There is a given a reminder purpose if else statement. First condition satisfied, then and then it stops. So default one should be last one. And one program, one try can have multiple exceptions. So one try can have zero division exception, one try can have the same try can have value error also. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, Amar.
Though you have multiple errors, but you are going to fix one by one only. So for an example, here, right now in the same try, I just showed you zero division by error, and I also showed you by entering a value error. If you observe here, the specific one like zero division error and value error, I can maintain the position change. Like zero division, I can maintain second position. Value error, I can maintain first position, because one error will be displayed. After that, the program itself is terminated. So second, there is no possibility of displaying second error. But when I come to except, which is a default, it will not think about the specific errors. It will just directly say that the error in runtime. So the last except should be in the last position only. It should not be in the second or first position. So generic, the basic or a default. Sorry, the default one. Are you able to hear me? Hello. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Amar.
So the default one should be in the last position, and other specific ones can be in any position. Because you may have a question, what if I have multiple kind of errors can be occur in the same syntax or in the same try. In the sense, you're right, in my current try itself I can have two errors. It can be a value error, it can be a zero error, or it can be both. But when you are executing your program, one error will be executed, automatically the program is terminated, or manual termination will happen until you fix that error. So the second error will come only when you fix the first error. Are you getting my point, Giri and Amini?
Yes, Amar.
So do not worry, the positions of your special statements, like not the default one in any sequence, but thing is the default one should be in the last position. The system will check whether the error is a zero division error or not. Then it will go to value error or not. Then it will go to some other. So the positions, the class will be only once. Only one class will be executed and the program is terminated. But when it comes to except, if you maintain the first position, default any kind of error display this one. So if you maintain the first position, zero division and value error both will not be executed at any cost. Value error except block can handle only one exception. Zero division error. Except block can handle only one exception. It cannot handle multiple exceptions. So you have one exception block for a value error. You have one exception block for zero division error. Default exception block can handle any type of exception. So apart from these two, value error or a zero error, if you have anything, system default will take the last one and display runtime error. In default exception block, we can display only common user-friendly error messages generally, because we don't know what kind of error it is, why the error is occurred. So it's better to display some message saying that friendly message to the user, contact system administrator, or enter the kindly check the inputs what you entered. Date format supposed to be so and so, and password supposed to be 8 letters. So some user-friendly message you can able to give to the user, so that he can get a knowledge. But here we cannot display the corresponding exception related to the user friendly. We don't know which error it is going to be. So in the above program, if exception is raised in the try block, then control will go to except block. If first exception block has handled the if the first exception block is handled, then control will go back to remaining except blocks. So it will not go back to the second exception and third exception and so on. Since the exception is already handled by first one, so it will be void. The program is terminated. Whatever I have in the first exception, it will be displayed and the program is end. Instead of giving an error, it will now go to your second and third. If my first exception block is not able to handle, then it will go to second exception block. If the second exception block is handled, then it will not go to third one. It will be stopped there itself. If the first block is not able to handle, then control will go to second next block until it reaches the handled one. If none of the exception block is handled, then it will go to the last one, that is called default one, and default message whatever you given the friendly message, it will be displayed. Clear? Any questions?
No, Amar.
So in try and exceptions, we have one more block called finally block. We'll discuss this one tomorrow. And final block, and then we get an idea the full-fledged how to handle an exception. Till now we try to understand try block and exception block, but not finally block. So we want to execute, though there is an error, I want to display the subsequent lines. 0 by division, print jet. The print jet is not happen, right? But I want to execute the subsequent lines at any cost, though there is an error or there is no error. Those scenario, those number of lines I'll maintain under finally block, which should not be affected by your errors. So those things will maintain under finally block. We'll discuss tomorrow class. This one. Any questions from you?
No, Amar.
What about Giri? Any questions?
No, no.
Yeah. So we'll stop for the day and we'll discuss tomorrow. We'll continue with exception block tomorrow. And how many the assignments are there in your Google Drive?
Okay, Amar.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.